obviously no loss is one that you want, but when your team keeps battling with these top teams, even with today, how do you really take this in? What do you really tell the team after?
I told them there's so much. I'm proud of them. Really proud of them. Hold them to 67. They have 14 turnovers. We only have 8. We're battling. It just, you get to a point where you're just like, oh, doggone it, man. You just can't, we had our nice, what are we, 6 out of 8 now. So I told them, proud of them, but, until we get collectively kind of tired of really coming that close, we can't flip some of those games, but man, they battle. I'm so proud of how they battle. Resilient. We just take too many bad shots at the wrong time. Came down to rebounding. We did great in the first half. Terrible in the second half. Maybe not terrible, but certainly a terrible timing. And then we just took some really ill-advised shots, and I cannot explain that. I don't know why. But proud of them, yeah. And they battled and coulda, woulda, shoulda again.
Mike.
What did you want to get on that last possession?
We were looking at 3 different looks. Addie O'Grady actually has 3-point range. My philosophy with threes is I don't have our 5 shoot a lot of threes because I feel like that's not their specialty. I want us to be really efficient at the block, at the short corner, and at the elbow. You can take the philosophy, but they got to shoot a lot of them to kind of offset if you're guards. That's what she does, and that's what her job description is. I'd rather have Taylor McCabe take one in transition versus like some people have a trail post 3 shooter. Addie can do that. So that was the last option. And I knew Betts would not be coming out on her because she just sits in that paint. First look, Hannah with a really quick dive on a screen. Second look, Lucy coming around. If they 2 went with Lucy, Addison was going to be there. And we got to look. Would have been a storybook ending. But that would have been a good play with a lucky ending because we don't practice it. But you don't in those last second situations. But that was the order, 1, 2, 3.
Blake.
Jen, I know we talked about offensive inconsistency. Is it different problems on a nightly basis, or is there a common pattern with why some of the sputtering tends to happen?
This tonight was 6-7 in the paint. So you can rip and go all you want, but you got to make a read after that. So if you rip and go a closeout, I like back-to-back actions, but you get a back-to-back actions, but no one has to really help. In my opinion, I would tell my players, don't help off of anybody. Just let Betts in there, just stand. So you're going and you might have a seam typically, but you need to find an opening. That was tougher sledding. But then we had too many times when, we don't shoot it over. So we did make some of those mistakes, but old habits. But today I thought was just, look guys, what I am proud of, they're, in my opinion, one of the best defensive teams in the country. They're sound, they don't let anything come easy. We only had 8 turnovers, and they pressed a little bit. So I thought that was really decent today. I don't know how I have to watch the film, how many minutes we went without scoring. But with a big gal inside, I went between our small lineup and our big lineup. And it came down to the third quarter where we didn't execute. And I told our staff, I said, I think that's where it went. When that happened, and we just got flustered at the wrong time. But I can't fault the effort, but today it was just bad decisions.
Kyle.
At the wrong time.
I didn't know.
How do you, I guess I'm kind of getting the gist here, but how do you contrast kind of coming close like you did at Ohio State versus today? Is it the same feeling? Is it a totally different feeling today? Or?
Well, I think since we got the lead on our home court and everything was rolling and rocking, is that I just wanted to see a little bit more of, being able to flip it. You understand when you can't flip it on the road, but it was even, you could kind of sense it, I thought, when we let the 11-point kind of go down to 4 or 5 in one of those timeouts I called. You could see a little collectively leaning back, and that's when I got a little bit concerned. But we just haven't, had a lot of go our way till the last, 6 out of 8, I guess, where we are now. And they're just really good. So I knew we needed something to go our way in that third quarter, the end of it. But I thought when we tied it, I thought I kind of had convinced them to a 10-minute game. And, we kind of stayed in it. But I just think it's just a lot, they're a really good team. And I just knew we had to keep them flustered with 11 points. But when we did too many back-to-back errors, and I knew you can't do that, especially on your home court against one of the top 3 teams in the country. So I probably maybe I was a little bit too intense in the third with my expectations. But I'm always going to have high expectations because I'm just so disappointed because I respect the heck out of them. But man, do I think I thought we could get it. I loved our game plan. We just had too many times we just made the wrong decision.
Last one out.
Speaking broadly here, so you don't get fined, in general, what does an inconsistent whistle do to how your players play and how you coach when you don't expect?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, It's just difficult, but you have to adjust. I mean, you just have to. I mean, they got to. I mean, it is, at the end of the day, there's one rule of law, and that's it, right? You don't have time to take it to appeals court. You got to figure it out, and it just is part of it. But I think that is a little bit, it just was weird. I mean, we had a lot of weird things, like even the end of the game. I mean, it ends like that. A game that good, right? In the sense of going back and forth. It's a trip, and they do believe they had to call that, but I was like, I mean, what are the chances that it's a weird tie-up by rule? I think if there is, it looks like a trip, you have to call it, but I thought that was unfortunate, right? But that's just kind of the way, but yeah, I mean, you have to adjust. I have to adjust. I get a little bit too hot sometimes, but I just think, man, I feel like it, we just got one of those to kind of go our way. But anyway, I'm proud of them. Bottom line, they battle. We gave up some size. I liked how we switched up defenses. And I think there's a lot to look forward to, a lot to play for. If we can play like that, the next couple games and into the tournament, man, if we keep believing and if we can just turn it, I think we could have a little fun in March.